Hi everybody, my name is Suze and I work with women to help them heal and integrate their inner masculine and feminine energies so that they can have lives that feel really emotionally fulfilling, right? The heart of the feminine desires real, true emotional fulfillment. So that is my message. But it does require both the masculine and the feminine. Today's conversation is going to kind of piggyback on the video I did prior to this one. For me, where I live, we're in the back to school season. My kids are going back to school. We're coming into fall. And that makes us kind of shift into a different season of life, different season literally in the world, particularly with where I live. I love fall where I live. Fall is an extraordinary season. And for me, it's an opportunity to reset, refocus, reflect, readjust. And astrologically, there is a lot of energetic support in this idea of reassessing, reviewing, and kind of doing these little tweaks to make things more aligned to where I may be now. Because where I am now is not where I was last fall. And I'm not going to go down that path too far. What I really want to talk about is how underestimated and how undervalued the awareness around seasons and the passing of time, and how I don't feel there's enough emphasis on how important cycles and seasons and the passing of time, how that plays such a big role in our manifestations, in our emotional fulfillment, in creating a life that genuinely, authentically feels really good, really blissful or happy or peaceful or harmonious, fulfilled, successful, whatever your big pinnacle word of success. Like, what is a successful life to you? How does that feel? Whatever that big umbrella energetic word is for you. There's not enough focus, I don't feel, on the seasons and the cycles that get you there. And particularly where I live, here in the United States, I've talked about this before, is that we have become so used to, and it has become so normal for us to live in a world that is so quick and easy and convenient, and this instant gratification, like microwave mindset kind of world where you want it, you get it. And it's just an instant thing. And when you live in a world, a physical reality where everything is about speed and efficiency and convenience and getting things done, and, Amazon, you order it and tomorrow it comes at your door, all of these things, and this is all masculine speak, right? The physical world is very masculine. The tangible things of life are very masculine. And the feminine world is the unseen world. It is the spiritual world, the growth, personal growth world. It's the emotional, energetic world. It's connection. It's the heart space energy, which is unseen. And that moves at a very different timeline than sometimes our physical reality does. So if you're really on this path of creating a feminine life and creating an emotionally fulfilled, emotionally successful and aligned life, you have to respect that it moves in a different way than the physical world may move. And if you're trying to generate change, let's say in relationship, right? Sorry. The feminine loves connection, right? Her heart's desire is to feel really deep, intimate, emotional connection in her relationships. So let's go into that arena for a moment to prove my point. In the arena of relationships, you may be aware and have done some reflection. I've done lots of videos on this. You may have taken responsibility for what you may have contributed to a dynamic, to a relationship that maybe has made things a little bit more challenging or difficult. Or maybe you're aware of what things between you and someone that kind of need to be tweaked a little bit to really bring the relationship into greater harmony or alignment, or maybe need to bring things back. Maybe space has been made, something has happened between you and another person that's kind of generated some space, and you want to bring things back together. Growth and intimacy in a relationship is not going to be like an Amazon delivery next day. It has a very specific cycle and season, and there are particular processes that need to be respected, and there has to be such patience in the process. And the feminine is really required to step into radical trust. Again, trust, what is that? It's an unseen element. Trust is in the energetic world. So it is something that the feminine is capable of tapping into at a very profound level if she allows herself to. Do you trust in yourself and your ability to create harmonious, really emotionally intimate relationships? Do you trust yourself? Do you trust your vision? Your vision, again, feminine, the feminine vision for what's possible, what you want to create, what you want to shift in your relationships and partnerships, right? Can you go through the seasons of it? When you come into an awareness of the next step for your relationship, oftentimes the first step is actually grief. And you know, it's kind of interesting to me that like back in time, I don't know how long ago this was, but if you go back in history a while back, when death happened, particularly for women, like let's say her husband died way back in the day, right? If a woman who was married, a mother or not, and her husband died, there would be literally a grieving period where she would wear black. And there were these certain expectations of things that she would do and things that she would not participate in for an extended, predetermined length of time to show respect and appreciate the process of grieving the death of her husband. Well, obviously we don't do that anymore. We move on from death rather abruptly. But in the feminine emotional world of manifestation and creation of the world, the reality that you want, we have to get back into that kind of a way of thinking and a way of being. We rush through grief so quickly, or we don't even acknowledge that we're in grief. One of my biggest revelations in working with emotional intimacy and emotional intelligence was recognizing how people may be showing symptoms of grief, and I notice it because of the work I've done in the world of emotions and feminine energy. I can recognize when someone is showing the symptoms of grief and they don't even know they're in a state of grief. They're just going about their life living at this surface level without even recognizing that just below that little thin veil of their life, they're actually reacting from a space of grief that is not being acknowledged. And so self-sabotage and impulsive behavior is happening because there's actually grief going on that the person is not even aware of, is not acknowledging, and is not honoring the process. The other thing with grief is it always takes much longer than anyone would prefer it to take. It's inconvenient. And part of this masculine-feminine inner dynamic is developing a healthy masculine energy of holding the space for the emotional process of grief or any emotional cycle for as long as it takes. And I'm not saying wallowing in these really intense emotional states, but being honest with yourself enough to know how to hold the space and support you in a healthy way, not rush you through the process because it's inconvenient or uncomfortable. Honoring the process. And that's just step one of the whole thing, of grieving of the past, grieving that you are aware that what is right now isn't working, and I'm going to step into the manifestation cycles and seasons of creating something new, of recognizing maybe there has to be some self-forgiveness and grief with the self of, oh my God, I've been participating in this dynamic that's so not good or healthy for me or supportive of me, does not align with what I need or where I'm going. And I've been participating in this energetic exchange that is hurting me, and I haven't allowed myself to grow and ask for more or grow and deepen this thing. I've been ignoring the grief, maybe. I've been ignoring the fact that this doesn't work for me, or I've settled in a dynamic that is settling and isn't expansive and alive and inspired and emotionally fulfilling. You know, there's a process here. Are you aware of the seasons of creating this emotionally fulfilling life or emotionally fulfilling relationships? Are you aware? Do you honor the seasons? Are you patient with the process? Or is it that I've made a decision that I'm going to work on this aspect of my life, so I expect it to change like that because I'm focusing on it? No. It is a slow and steady and consistent process of building the trust and the faith of one foot carefully, concisely, slowly in front of the other to build the big manifestation that you're looking for and your heart is calling you towards. And too often we give up too soon because it's not happening fast enough in our physical world. Or maybe I feel like I'm not having enough evidence in my physical world that this thing is actually working. So we sabotage it by checking out too soon, shifting the focus again and be like, all right, forget that, I'm gonna try this. But have you really gone through all of the seasons of the death, right? The death, the dying off, being in the quiet of winter. Sorry, the landscapers are here doing the lawn, so I apologize for background noise right now. They just started as I had already started this video. You know, after you have the realizations and the death and the okay, I need to create this new thing, I need to move in this new direction, you go through the grieving process, you slow down, you quietly hibernate and hold and comfort yourself, grounding down, calming down, getting yourself ready. And then you move into spring, which is planting intentional seeds. And then you water the seeds, you feed the seeds, you nurture, again, feminine, nurturing the seeds, and pay really close attention and look for every little sprout. That's the other thing. If you're rushing too quickly through your life or through the seasons, you'll miss all the tiny little sprouts that are showing you it's happening, it's happening. I got stuck in that for a long time of expecting things to happen too quickly or expecting the manifestation to just boom, hit me, all at once. And most of the time, in my experience, it doesn't work that way. You have to be present and awake and aware enough to see every little tiny new little leaf that's coming out to show you it's coming, it's coming. And then you have summer where things start becoming more obvious and beautiful and warm and exciting and passionate. Do you respect the seasons, or are you expecting things to just change because you changed your mind or you decided something and so then it should be right there? Or do you get more grounded in your knowing? See what the next step is. Let that sit. Let that land. Let it marinate. And then move on to the next step. This is a process. If you would like help with this, my email is in the description box below. Let's talk this out with you. I can break this down in a very practical, realistic way, depending on what you are working on, what your manifestation is, where you are going. We can energetically work together and figure this out, your own path of getting you through the seasons, your cycles, and how to get there, holding the space for you, holding the vision for you, believing in your process, trusting that you can have this thing, even if there's others around you that say this thing you want isn't meant to be, or isn't meant for you, or you're asking for too much, or you're being unrealistic. Be unrealistic. I'll be the one here being unrealistic with you, because it is possible if you know how to work the energies and the seasons to get yourself there. If you found value in this video, please do like, subscribe, and comment. I love hearing the comments of you who are resonating with my message and how timely these messages seem to be for some of you for what you're working on. I am sending so much love and healing and comfort to you all, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye-bye for now.